Welcome to the second of these videos that I'm making for my Upper 6 class at Worksop College. You should have already watched the first video on the Prima Porta. This video looks at the Forum of Augustus, the second of our three archaeological sources for the Augustus course. We will look at the uses of this particular forum, but a forum in general is a large meeting area in the centre of a city. It has a social function, a religious function. On the picture in front of you, you can see the remnants of a temple. It has a financial function. There'll be shops, a civic function, in this case, a legal function. So it's multifaceted. All forums are multifaceted, and this one in particular is very interesting for understanding what Augustus is trying to do in his reign. So, as you can see from the dates underneath the title, the forum took 40 years to build. It was vowed in 42 BC at the Battle of Philippi. And that will become important when we look at the temple, but so it has elements of him avenging his father. So there's elements of him being divi filius, there's elements of him advertising his pietas. And it was inaugurated properly in 2 BC when he gains the title Pater Patriae, and again we'll see that when we look in more detail at the forum. The picture in front of you is all that remains of the forum. The most interesting aspects for our purpose are, of course, the temple. So here are the colonnades, and you would imagine that would go all the way round up here. Of course, you'd have had a triangular roof. Great drawing, I know. With steps going up. It would have all been marble. Think of Suetonius 28, where he says, "I founded Rome a city of brick." So all of this is what he's talking about when he talks about Roman bricks. "And I made it a city of marble," or "I clothed it in marble." The Forum and all of Rome after Augustus's building program would have shone, would have been spectacular, would have put Rome at the very centre of world politics. It was a forum and a city that matches the power of Rome. The most interesting part of the ruins that remains is this massive back wall. It's a fire break. Behind the wall was the area of the city called the Subura, which is quite a poor district, and as a poor district, it was very overpopulated. You know that Rome had a city of 1 million people. So with high density population, there was a danger of fire, and this wall acted as a fire break. It has acted in similar ways and stood for 2,000 years. We will look at the shape of it, which is quite interesting in itself, but notice how high the wall is and its function as a fire break. Think about that when you're talking about Rome, Augustus's building project and what he does in the city of Rome. So this is quite a vintage artist's impression of what the forum would have looked like. Obviously it's a model. Notice how enclosed it is. The entrances are here, here, and here, and of course there are entrances either side. That allows you to sort of control access and funnel people where you want to go. We are going to talk about the artistic plan of this forum quite soon, but by sort of controlling the flow into your forum, it allows you to show off certain ideas. You will also, I hope, notice that the decoration, the colonnade, the temple has elements of Greek imagery, particularly Pericles in Athens, the Parthenon, things like that. But we'll talk about this a bit later. Notice the funny shape with these semicircular areas and then colonnaded area for walking, and then there would have been a statue in the centre, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This image is obviously a bird's eye view plan of the forum. You have a similar image in your folders, but I think this one is quite good for my purposes here. So the first and most obvious thing to note about this forum is its funny shape. So one colonnaded side goes all the way up here, the other is shortened. Notice the odd shape of the wall back here. The reason for this is because, as I said earlier, this area would have involved the Subora, so the urban population. Think about the importance of the urban population in relation to the res gestae. And so what Augustus is doing with this wall is not only making a fire break, as I said, but also he is not imposing his will, if you like. He's not bulldozing normal people's houses. He is building around the buildings that are already there. And that makes quite an interesting statement. So the plan is useful for the artistic features of the forum. In a sense, I hope to show you that it's a time machine, the forum, that is celebrating Augustus, is celebrating Rome, and has an element of the messianic to Augustus, that the whole of Roman history, the whole of world history has been leading up to Augustus himself, where he has brought peace and prosperity to the world. So what do I mean by this? Well, if you imagine time running from here, the mythical foundations of the beginning of the world, in this direction, in a sort of downward direction, we have at the north, well, at the top end, this large temple, the religious, the pious basis of Augustus's control. He has support of the gods. Within the temple, within the Keller, there are three gods: Venus, Mars, and the newest god of all, Divus Iulius. So, as you know, Venus and Mars, love and war, were the founding gods of Rome. Think of your Aeneid. Think of the importance and the intermixing of love and war. Venus was the mother of Aeneas, of course. Mars was the father of Romulus and Remus. Most importantly, of course, Romulus, the founder of the Roman city. And last of all, Divus Iulius is the father of Augustus. So we have a triad, three gods in the temple, a triad. The most famous triad was the Capitoline Triad, the most holy area of Rome on the Capitoline Hill, involving Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. This is, and it's very ancient, and so this new temple is a sort of modern realization, and it highlights that Augustus wants to be associated with the mythical past. He gains his power, his position, through association with the mythical past. This is particularly reinforced by the positioning of certain statues. So we have, obviously, the sort of primordial beginning of time over here, and Venus is the mother of Aeneas. So in this left-hand semicircle, we have Aeneas, and then up here we have the Julian clan, the early Julian clan. Of course, that will link to Divus Julius, but is justifying the link between Augustus and Aeneas. So Aeneas is the founder of the Julian family, and Augustus is descended from Aeneas. Aeneas' son, Iulus, founded the city of Alba Longa. So here, next to Aeneas, we have the kings of Alba Longa. So in a sense, we begin with Aeneas, and we have the beginnings of history, Roman history, the descent. His family, Iulus, going into the kings of Alba Longa. One should remember that the statue of Aeneas is that famous image of him carrying his father Anchises and holding the hand of his son Ascanius, Iulus. So the statue of Aeneas is also an image of piety. Augustus is hitting some of his key virtues, pietas, religion, pietas, the image of Aeneas, within his forum, and he is linking and justifying his own position to the early foundation of the Roman people. He's using the mythical past to justify the present. On the other side, we have a statue of Romulus. So we've moved from primordial time to Aeneas, through the kings of Alba Longa, and then the final king, one of the later kings of Alba Longa, his daughter gives birth to Romulus after Mars's rape of Ilia. And so all of these are interlinked. We're creating a triangle in time, if you like. Aeneas is the founder of the Roman people. Romulus is the founder, famously, of the Roman city. So again, these are Augustus's ancestors.